Season is coming to a close as the colder weather moves into Siouxland. A multi-million-dollar project to update Highway 75 in Sioux Center, Iowa. It started back in April. So how the project progress? KTIV's Irvin Doman joins me in studio with an update tonight. Irvin?
Yes, Matt. Sioux Center city officials hope to have phase one of the $50 million project complete before the cold would force them to stop. Now they say that's not possible.
We were always working towards and had hoped for the east lanes to be paved before winter, but at this point it looks like it's not going to happen.
City officials here in Sioux Center, Iowa say that major construction updates on Highway 75 will stop until about the beginning of April of 2024, but they also say that this will not put them behind schedule.
Well, the contract is written that they do have about 100 working days left in this contract, which means they can work into next year, and it's plenty of time to get that done next spring and summer.
Working days will not be used throughout the winter because the construction company can't pour concrete in those wintry conditions. Now the city has started focusing on how to make travel safe with the snowy and icy conditions winter will bring.
We're looking at making some adjustments, like taking the lane dividers out. You know, right now it would be difficult to plow. We would take those lane dividers out so the plow could get through there easier. Build the shoulder a little wider so that they can wing back the snow and stuff.
The project began in an effort to make the highway safer to travel, improve the function of the road, and boost the overall looks of the highway for everyone that travels through Sioux Center. Now, city officials say the goal is still to have the entire project done in 2025. Matt?